You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast.
You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. My name is Sean Wilkie, and along with my awesome co host, we interview the innovators in this space every week. Ivan, please go ahead and get us started.
Hey, I'm Ivan Zach, and I'm very excited to introduce a colleague of mine, Dr. Karen Whala. Dr. Karen, a former general practice veterinarian, found her calling in in-home euthanasia after years of feeling burned out in traditional veterinary setting. With over 16 years of experience in various veterinary roles, including ambulatory and small animal practice, as well as government service, she discovered a newfound passion for in-home euthanasia. Co-founding CodaPet in 2022, Dr. Whala aims to empower veterinarians to achieve personal fulfillment, flexibility, and economic empowerment through offering in-home euthanasia services. Under her leadership, CodaPet has experienced exponential growth, supporting a nationwide network of freelance veterinarians dedicated to providing personalized care to pets and their owners. Welcome to the show, Karen. Thank you for finding the time.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very excited, and I will try my very hardest not to go off on a tangent, as I'm very passionate about this space.
We're good. We're good at interrupting tangents. So tell us more about it. So it sounds like it's an interesting platform. It doesn't just solve your dilemma of what to do next in your career, but also offers a platform for other veterinarians. So tell us about CodaPet, where the idea came from, and the name as well.
Oh, yeah, that's very important. Everybody wonders, what does that mean, CodaPet? So CodaPet, I'll just start with that. Coda is the Latin term for the end or a tail end of what, like a musical ballad, a beautiful piece. And so I think that's fitting, though the explanation is sometimes I think needs to be shared a little bit more. And so we came up with that name. Originally, the name was, a little bit more, I think, explanatory, but wanting to share this experience with other vets across the nation had to change it to something a little bit more unique. And so we came up with the term CodaPet. So CodaPet, well, first of all, you did mention that I was experiencing burnout, and that is a real thing. I think it's no secret to us veterinarians in the field. There's many reasons. Overwhelming workloads, the impacts of the pandemic, I think especially, and increasing pet owner demands. The educational debt, all of that, and I was experiencing it. I think I was practicing. I think at the time about 15 years, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to government. That didn't really pan out for me. And I thought, what do I have to lose? I was thinking about leaving the profession and thought, why don't I just try this in-home euthanasia? And so I started from scratch. And after a first month of offering in-home euthanasia, I didn't know what to expect. And I was absolutely blown away by how much better I liked practicing under these circumstances, which is really strange to somebody looking from the outside in. How in the world can you feel good about putting pets to sleep all day? How does that address burnout? Many vets will ask that, and that's absolutely understandable. But when you are helping a pet pass peacefully at home in the privacy of the pet owners, and it looks so peaceful and comforting, and of course it's time, it just feeds back to the pet owner, and they just have this peace about it, and they want to pay for this service that you're providing. And they're so grateful. And to me, I found it so incredibly rewarding. I think after the first month I was offering this service, I thought, oh my word, every veterinarian should have this option. And I wish I had started sooner. The flexibility, I think, was my number one, number two, and number three reasons for doing this. And I had journaled my entire, start to for the first 3 years. I had journaled myself, audio journaled, and I listened back and I thought, oh my, this is great. And so I wanted other vets to experience this. But the 9 months it took me to go from, I think I want to start this, to when I actually saw my first pet, it was a little daunting. We veterinarians in general are not very business minded. We have that compassionate aspect. We want to help pets. And, little did we know that there is a business component no matter what stage we're in. You can correct me if I'm going on. Like I said, I'm very excited about this space. And after that 9 months of educating myself, learning about the business aspect, taxes, accounting, taking payments, scheduling, client education, and client communication, and of course, marketing and advertising. It was a little overwhelming, but after that first month, oh my goodness, it was so worth it. And so the first few years was a learning curve. And I thought, I would love for other vets to have this opportunity to address their burnout. I had absolutely addressed my burnout. I think it's different for everyone. But being able to come up with a middle of the road between being an employee, of doing this, which is absolutely good for many vets, and then there are those who want to start from scratch. Absolutely, I recommend that. But those of us who are in the middle who, I want the flexibility of doing my own things, charging my own fees in my own service area and my own schedule. But boy, it would be nice for somebody else to handle that client education aspect, that marketing and advertising, the website and the scheduling and the payment processing. And so that's where CodaPet came to kind of be that middle of the road option for veterinarians. And it's been a real blessing for vets, I believe.
That's amazing. So, Karen, a question for you. We've had lots of conversations about in home euthanasia, lots of friends that have built companies and had successful exits, and lots of people that we know that are doing this. But what's unique about CodaPet? What have you guys done, or what's different about your approach? Where's the innovation?
So, if many people are familiar with Airbnb or Uber, and so where you have freelancer individuals, in this case veterinarians, and the platform, the CodaPet, kind of connects pet owners who are seeking in-home euthanasia with the veterinarians in their area. And so, the way they do that is it allows the pet owners to be assured of an appointment. So, the veterinarian creates their schedule, from their phone or their tablet, and that translates in real time to the appointments that the pet owner sees online. So one, the pet owners are able to book an appointment online and not request an appointment, fill out a form, wait for someone to get back to them, and have the assurance of an appointment. The second is that they get actual instant pricing, full transparent pricing based on their address, their pet's weight, and their aftercare. So that's one of the two. So
that makes tons of sense. And really interesting. So you've gone from being a veterinarian to running a software and services business. What was that transition like?
I'm still in that transition process. So I am still full time offering in home euthanasia as right now an independent contractor with CodaPet. So in the same position that all of our veterinarians are under. So I get to experience whatever they're experiencing full time.
Very cool. So that actually leads me to another question, which is, so who is CodaPet? Are you one of the founders of CodaPet and working with CodaPet, or what's your role in the organization?
I am one of the co founders. My other co founders are veterinarians as well. And we all do in home euthanasia and trying to create a platform together that we want. And therefore, we believe will translate into what other vets want. And that tech platform, I believe, it does handle a lot of the hard work, the heavy lifting that we vets kind of want.
And so, just to understand the model a little bit, so you have a bunch of veterinarians that can go to CodaPet and sign up and say, I want to do this. And it gives them sort of like call it a digital kit and the instructions to join. And then the advertising for it and everything is handled through CodaPet. And then they have their schedules available. Or how does that work just from the practical standpoint?
There is, well, a veterinarian has to be vetted for to join the platform. And there are some factors, market conditions and factors, individual personality factors that go into play. Not every vet does this fit, offering this service. Not every vet's in a market that will welcome this service. And they'll get interviewed, the first step. They'll get interviewed, they'll fill out a form and be interviewed. And then there's once if they pass that, everything looks like it'll be a good mutual fit. They will then go through with an onboarding process and they'll be paired up with various individuals who will help with them with that. There's the engineering team that'll help them get their, the website up and going, the platform connected. And there's our operations team, and then there's the veterinarian aspect of it. We have a veterinarian dedicated to helping prepare them if they're not familiar with doing in-home euthanasia. And so they do get the training and the resources to help prepare them for onboarding.
And then from the business model, because we always talk about innovation on this podcast, and it's interesting to understand the mechanics of how the business works for the founders, for the people that are doing this. So is there like a transactional fee that the platform collects on every booking, or how does the business work? What are the mechanics?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, there is a percentage that CodaPet receives. So the way the model works is the veterinarian creates the 1 hour appointment slots from their phone using a calendar, and that translates to the pet owner. If the pet owner, they will put in three pieces of information to find the vet in their area, make sure they're in their service area, and make sure they're in their weight restrictions. Some vets have weight restrictions. If that all checks out, for example, pet owner goes online, they enter their pet's weight, their address or zip code, and their aftercare desires. And then they will get all that pricing and they will see that vet schedule if that vet's in their area. They will then proceed with the booking and then they put in their credit card information, but it just holds the appointment. They don't get charged. It's clearly shared with them that they're not charged until the veterinarian comes to their home and verifies the pet's weight and their aftercare. And once they complete that booking process, they typically will have up to a week of schedule to look at. And once they complete that booking, the veterinarian gets all that information on their dashboard. So they get this information and they can see all the information about the pet, their aftercare, even what the price that the pet is going to pay. And so the vet will, once they're at the home, that's when they can charge out the client. And CodaPet charges 15% to the vet for the services that they provide in handling client communication and educating and preparing the client for the visit, as well as the marketing and the advertising for that vet in their area. And so they do prepare, I believe, very well, the clients very well. And the vet is responsible for, obviously setting their own feeds, their own schedule, their own service area. And they are to connect with the pet owner after they've booked, just to be that touch point, see if the client has any questions. And and then afterwards, CodaPet will notify their vet of the euthanasia and kind of send, grief resources and stuff like that. So yeah, about 15% is what the vet is paying from their gross that they pay for the services that CodaPet provides.
Excellent. That's very interesting. So I was worried initially when you said there's weight restrictions, and maybe it's some underweight or overweight veterinarians are not welcome. But what are those ideal personas? So when you are interviewing these veterinarians, there's that you said that there's some that are more fit than others. What is that ideal if we have veterinarians, which we do, listening to this episode, and they think, yeah, I would like to do that. Do I fit into this sort of model? Who are you looking for? What is this sort of the persona that you would identify that would fit really?
Oh my word, that's an amazing question. I speak to vets who are residents, who are specialists, who are full-time stay-at-home moms, to retirees who don't quite want to turn in the towel for their, for practicing, to full-time clinic vets, to vets who are just doing relief or mobile. So they are literally all across the spectrum. Probably the ones we just really would rather them have a little bit more experience under the belt are new grads, just because of the whole communication that you learn as you practice. But all spectrums of life stages do we have represented on our platform for certain, because it works out really well as something you can do to fit around your life as opposed to your life around what you do. It works very well for that.
That's great, Karen. One of the first things that I wanted to ask you at the start, but then we get distracted by a bunch of other stuff that's really cool about the business, is you said that you've got a couple of other co-founders. You guys were all practicing veterinarians at one point. But can you tell me a little bit about the founding story? Like, how did you guys get to the point where you're like, let's do this, let's build a software platform? And when did you start, and kind of where are you at on your journey? How many veterinarians do you have on the platform across the country?
So how we started, I shared a little hint of it, I guess, in the beginning. About a month after I started, I felt that, hey, I think more vets should have this opportunity. It helped solve my personal burnout issues. Just working part-time in a clinic and doing this helped me significantly. And I think I did try a solid attempt at trying to start this on my own without any tech help or actual experience of individuals with knowledge in this area. And it didn't, I knew the demand was there. I think I put out a Facebook post about any vets wanting to do in-home euthanasia, wanted to join my local area, utilizing my local website. And of course, there was the demand there. I was really surprised at how many vets responded to that single Facebook post. But I didn't have the platform. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have any of that, digital advantage. And so I didn't take it anywhere. And so after a couple years of struggling with that, I decided to step back a little bit, and a local vet in my area reached out to me. I think might have seen one of my requests for help. And they were a husband and wife team, and they asked to join. And I said, I don't know what the demand is in my local area, but sure. And after 2 weeks of that, they joined full time, and I didn't realize how much demand I wasn't meeting in my local area. So, and after he had been doing that for 2 months, I think he has some connections with individuals who grow startups. And so we just got started with that. And I had never ever envisioned having an employee model. Never did. Never had the stomach for that. But I felt that veterinarians being independent was the answer. And we both the individuals and my co-founders, we were all on board with starting something that would allow freelance vets to get started. And I think freelancers are happier. And I felt that was something that aligned with my values. We all kind of agreed, and we kind of grew from there. And so that's how it started. I believe back in 2022, summer of 2022. So when we all got together and officially came up with this idea and started growing. So yeah, we've grown quite a bit. We started with seven vets back into 2023. And yeah, so almost a tenfold growth from there since then.
So tenfolded, you mean you're up to 70?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. That's incredible growth.
And that's in the pipeline. It kind of makes sense. It just kind of makes sense and works with just about any vet stage or life stage or career stage that a vet is in.
That's great. Well, that's a fascinating story. So before we ask the two questions that we always ask at the end of the show, where can people find you, and those veterinarians that are interested to be a part of the platform, how do they find you and how do they register?
Oh, yeah, certainly. They can go to, we have a page just for the vets. It's CodaPet.com/vets. So /vets will take you to the page for the vets, and it'll give you more information about quality of life, a day in the life, what you can expect, how it works. And then if they're interested, they would fill out a form, and it will, connect you with a veterinarian, and they'll have like that screening conversation. So CodaPet, CODA, pet, PET.com /vets, VETS.
That's amazing. Well, it sounds like you guys are on a heck of a ride, and we'd love to kind of stay in touch and see how things are going. But we've gone through all the time, like we do almost every single week. But we've got a couple questions before we wrap up. The first is a YouTube video, a TED Talk, a book, something that you found inspiring on your path so far.
Whoa, yeah. So I shared a book recommendation in the YouTube video. This was the last one I had seen, and I was really it was a solemn thought that the name of the TED Talk is The Battle for Your Time. And I found that incredibly somber thought, that how much time that we have, 334 months on average from the age of 18, that we have a free time. And how do you want to spend that free time? And it kind of just opens my eyes that I want to be as productive as possible. And it says that about 93% of Gen Z will be spending that in front of the screen. And I certainly don't want that. And I want to encourage others to, hey, go out and live a life, and don't watch a life. And that TED Talk was really it was kind of inspiring and a little bit somber at the same time. I hope that maybe that'll be inspirational to others as well. So
that's excellent recommendation. And the second question that we always ask, is there another innovator in this industry that you would recommend to be on the show?
Yeah, Dr. Christy Cornelius. She is a veterinarian who started off in the end-of-life space and has sold a practice, and is now helping. She started a group called VetSpark, an innovative group for veterinarians, entrepreneurial veterinarians, and is now dabbling in the AI space. And so she just graduated with her business degree, and we're collaborators, and I think she would be a very good next guest, actually, that will align very much with your innovative podcast goals.
Thank you so much for listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. If you want to hear about our new episodes, please follow us on any social media channel. Also, you can check out our website at veterinaryin.podcast.com. See you next week.